Hi guys, it's Erin and we are 6 weeks and 1 day. So look, out of the sling, so happy. I am quite prepared to burn that bloody thing. I don't ever want to be back in it ever again. I'm a bit nervous about, being out in public and on public transport without it because it's been a bit of a safeguard, a real safety blanket. But I guess it's time to let go of that safety blanket and just start moving on. So I saw my surgeon today for my 6-week follow-up appointment, and he is fairly happy. He's pretty happy with the scar and how that's all going. And I had a couple of questions because in my right arm, and I don't know if I can help you see it, you might be able to a little bit. I have a bump just there, and I was a bit concerned because I quite clearly actually don't have it on my left side, and I was concerned that I'd potentially torn my bicep. Like, it's not sore or anything, but it's a bit warm, and it is quite a bit of a bump. But he said to me that because I haven't used my muscles, it's basically just my bicep and tricep. There's just no strength or tone left anymore. He also noted that there's no tone left in my pectoral muscles or my deltoids, and they kind of, he used the word atrophied, which I'll have to look that one up a bit later. But I've never really looked at the difference, but looking at the screen now, I can, if I flick my hair back, I can actually really see the difference in my pectoral muscles here, and obviously in my muscles here and up here. So he's happy with the scar. It looks great. I'm just going to move it in a bit. Can you see it? It's just, where's the top of it? Top of it's here, and the bottom of it's down here. Look at that. And there's a tiny little one on the back, which you can hardly see anymore. And he told me that this will fade over time, and I do know that that will happen, so just going to let nature take its course. I'm not big on creams for scars or anything like that. I think the body heals how it's supposed to heal. Now, I understand that some people like to reduce scars, particularly in visible spots, but that's just not me. So I'm just happy to let that heal naturally, and whatever scar I'm left with, I'm left with. Don't feel like I'm a particularly caring person when it comes to things like scars and stuff like that. I think they tell stories. So my surgeon also got me to test my movement. Now, I have been using my right arm a lot more, particularly in the last week. I made a very conscious effort to start using my arm, but I don't have any strength whatsoever. I can barely hold my arm out in front of my body. If I need to reach for something, like if I'm at work and I need to put my right hand on the keyboard, I physically have to pick my hand up and move it out quite slowly so I don't cause myself pain, because I actually can't do that movement myself yet. He tested my, he definitely tested my forward motion, and he tested from standing, my outward motion to go out that way, sort of up to 180 degrees, which I couldn't do, and I am finding all of this a little bit distressing. I can only move my arm from my legs about that much away from my legs, out to the side of my body. He gave me a an exercise to do in addition to the physio that I was originally given, where I use a rope or something like that, and he did suggest the clothesline, but given that it's winter, it's not a good option to go outside. It's cold and it's raining. So I've flipped something over a door, and I use it like a pulley system. I grab hold of one end with my right arm, and using my left arm I pull down, and the idea is to help start raising my arm up and get all of that movement really start to happen. I've done it 3 times so far today, and it hurts a lot. But I'm pretty stubborn, which should be good for the next few months while I go through physio. I have booked my first physio and rehab appointment, and that is next Tuesday. It's with the physiotherapist who gave me my original exercises to do. I thought, no, I did meet him once, and I think we had a half an hour meeting. But I got a very positive energy from him, and I would like to work with him in my rehabilitation of my shoulder. I decided not to go back to my original physio because this was a guy who dismissed my original MRI because the machine wasn't good enough, and he was certain that there was no tear. So why would I go back to someone who is, really gives off a bit of a negative kind of vibe? I don't want that. I don't need that. This rehab's going to be hard enough. I'm scared. I'm scared of the pain. I'm scared of the lack of results. And this is where being stubborn is hopefully going to work with me, is that I will keep going till I get the result I need to do. I will grit my teeth. I'm not one to complain about pain while I'm doing exercises, particularly when I know it's necessary. So I know I'll get it done. I am scared of the pain. I'm scared of it not working. So what else? He also said I can start driving. So that is just, I'm just so independent that having to rely on other people has actually caused me some very severe anxiety. I don't talk about my anxiety too often, but sorry, there was just a black thing floating in the air. I don't talk about my anxiety too much or too often, but it was really causing me issues, particularly when, people I were relying on were running late, and I'm not a running late kind of person, particularly for my classes or for appointments. I do like to make sure I'm there on time. So having to rely on other people to get these things done, it wasn't good for my anxiety. So, yep, back to driving. Super, super happy. I have already gone for a small drive, and I noticed a difference straight away. The last time I got into my car and tried to start it, I actually couldn't do that with my right hand at all. So in Australia, we are right-hand drive. So I was in the driver's seat, and our ignition is on the right-hand side, and so my gear shift and everything is on the left. But the last time I got into my car, I had to use my left hand to go around my body to start my car, but I could do all of that with my right hand, so that was really, really pleasing. I don't have a large car. I don't sit too far back from this steering wheel. I mean, it's not right up at me, but I'm in a comfortable space from my steering wheel, so that doesn't hurt too much. The most pain I actually felt was the getting in and out of the car and the closing and opening of the door. It the stretch hurt, but you know that happens. So yeah, so it's been a big day. I have a lot to wrap my head around. You know, it's one thing to, you know, in those last 6 weeks, yes, I knew this was all coming, and as much as I complained about the sling, I quite enjoyed the protection that it offered. I guess people were a bit more careful, and I felt very secure because my arm was, excuse me, my arm was very much against my chest and my body, and it was very stable. But now, not having that, I'm just worried. I don't think people are going to do me any damage. I guess it's just that mental thing that we always know that it's there. There's not much I can do but get over that one and work on going forward. I spoke to my specialist about sleeping, and you know, he asked how that was going, and you know, told him it wasn't too bad. It's been a bit dodgy lately. Because I'm trying to sleep on my left hand side a bit more, trying to sleep on my side. I'm sick to death of laying on my back. But I found that I would get into a position and I'd be nicely tucked in with pillows and with my left arm holding and a bit more supporting of my right, and I would be comfortable, and just as I would drift off to sleep, the pain would start from my shoulder being in a different kind of position and a bit more gravity, so I would have to move and I'd have to try and get comfortable again, start the whole process again. So, you know, sleeping is a bit difficult, but he said to me, it's just one of those things. I don't need to see my surgeon again for another 6 weeks. So there'll be 6 weeks of physio in there, and, you know, hopefully a bit more progression. I don't know what I'm hoping for. I don't know what I'm aiming for. I'm just wanting to improve. And I guess that's all I can really hope for. You know, I would love to be back where I was pre-surgery, but I have got a long way to go before I can get to there, and I have to acknowledge and accept that that's the situation, and just put maybe that as my 12-month goal to kind of be where I was pre-surgery, not pre-injury. There's a big difference. So if I go into what I want to be in 12 months' time pre-surgery, and then maybe 2 years' time pre-injury, you know, who knows? Like, I'm just very fascinated. You know, you can just the angle of my muscle here in comparison to, there's nothing left there. Oh, it's just a lot of hard work, and I know I've got to do it. So, moving forward, I'm not sure about when I'll do my next video. I might do one after my first physio appointment, you know, so I can fill you guys in on how that went. But they'll be less regular than weekly. You know, I've hit the 6 week mark. So if they're not coming through weekly, I'll probably try and do them monthly. You know, it's going to be a busy time in July, so I'm looking forward to moving forward. I'm looking forward to using my arm more and more. just developing the strength. It's the simple things now that I've got to work on. But anyway, that's a bit morose. So, but you know, happy days that I'm out of the sling and I'm able to use my right arm a lot more. But the realistic point of view is that this is now when the hard work begins, and I have got a very long journey ahead of me. I guess any one of us who have been through this will have. Alright, so like I said, I'll probably do another video next week, probably after my first physio appointment, so I can fill you guys in on the situation. But that's it for me for this week. I hope you guys have a great week, and we will chat soon, no doubt. Peace. Bye, guys.